everybody, Ryan? I'm sorry, something dropped out. Okay, wonderful. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to this special meeting of the Humboldt County Board of Supervisors, November 23rd.
It comes in those 5 parts. Ryan, do you feel like you got what it is, or?
So if we could just have it cleared out one more time for transparency, that'd be wonderful. Thank you.
CAO Nelson, could you help me with that through the chair?
The first that I have is authorize the Auditor-Controller to post the central service charges contained in the State Controller's approved 2019-20 cost allocation plan, and as already submitted by county staff by November 30th, 2020. Number 2, I have authorized the Auditor-Controller to post the internal service fund charges approved by the SCO in the 2019-20 cost allocation plan, and as already submitted by county staff by November 30th, 2020. Number 3, authorize the Auditor-Controller to close fiscal year 2019-20 by November 25th, which would include all journals submitted by all county staff. Number 4, direct departments to provide federal award letters and budgets to the Auditor-Controller's office. I would like to just say something about this. Budgets are already approved through the budget process, so this does seem to be a bit of a redundant request of staff, but nonetheless, I'm sure we can make that happen. Number 5, I have direct the AC and Human Resources to return with position classification, potential operations realignment, and an option to conduct a staffing study and to include supplemental budgets if necessary. Through the chair, quite frankly, I don't feel like this particular direction to departments is necessary. Again, if you read the negotiation agreement, we are compliant with the federal OMB circular, and so I don't think it's necessary that departments do this. If you want them to do this, and they're already submitting budgets through the budget adoption process, I would ask that you give departments some time. It shouldn't be contingent upon posting the 19-20 cost allocation plan charges.
And that wasn't the intent. Let's just say by year's end.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
Clarifying, I did state that it was the award letters and budgets within the grants. That's what's the part that's being asked for. And CAO Nelson, I certainly appreciate your perspective. I really do. But you know, a lot of what we have been doing is saying to the auditor, tell us what you need and we'll provide it. She's told us that she could use this. Let's provide it. You even said that while it'd be hard maybe to do this week, we can get this stuff together and provide it. It may be a redundant step, and maybe as we look at the playbook and we look at how to streamline and make things work more efficiently, we can consider how that might happen in one step rather than 2 or 3. But I'm just trying to honor the Auditor-Controller's request. We asked her, what do you need? She said, I need this, so let's provide it. And I'm fine with it being by the end of the year. I think we've already agreed that we're going to recommend or authorize the postings now. So they're not important tomorrow, but they are important to eventually get into that office as timely as possible. So that's really all I was trying to do there. And I'm fine with the motion as it has been read and adjusted.
If that's going to come through that way, then I will be voting no, because I'm going to have a hard time voting for redundancy in county government. I think we have enough of it already. It's already there. It's a redundant step. We've heard that. It's in some of the grants already have that in the fulfillment of their grant. So I just, so you know, keep it in there, and that will make my vote easy, because we have enough redundant things in there. And just because somebody wants redundancy, so it creates more work for all the other department heads and sends them down the rabbit hole, I'm going to make a couple requests here if that's all it takes, but I'm not going to get them granted. So, I mean, it's that just because they ask for it doesn't mean they get it. We're giving them in 3 years,
Lordy.
5 new people and a 9-member staff. And now you're wanting them to have the department heads do redundant work that's already been done, but would you do it again? Because that's what I'd like. I don't even have to stay around. I'll vote no. Thanks.
Supervisor Council Billingsley.
Chair,
Supervisor.
I think the Auditor-Controller had a question about the wording on recommendation number 3. So you may want to get her input.
Thank you, Council Billingsley. Yes, Ms. Paz Dominguez. And
thank you, Chair, and thank you, County Council Billingsley. The reason why I said wait when you said November 25th is I would need till Friday. I'm already planning to work till Friday, so I was just going to say, "Ooh, can you push it till Friday to close the year?" Because I heard Director Madsen say they're scheduled to come next week. So I would just like to request those 2 extra days. That's what I was objecting to there. And then I think there's been some misunderstanding here when we talk about grant budgets. We're not talking about the budget that the CAO presented and was approved. I think what Supervisor Madrone is saying is when you do apply for a grant and you get a federal award, it comes with a budget. You have to say, I'm going to spend it this way, just that limited grant. It's not the one that the board approves. And that federal award letter already includes that budget that says we'll pay for this much of salaries, this much of expenses. We do it too in this county. It's very standard. It's not the same thing as the county budget that is being talked about. I think that was just a misunderstanding there. And because the Auditor-Controller is authorized as the Chief Accounting Officer, that documentation should already be going to the Auditor-Controller. In some departments are already submitting it. So it's not something new.
so the words federal awards letter is inclusive of the information that you need. Thank you. So we can change the wording there. Director Beck, you had your hand up. Supervisor Bass.
Madam Chair, yeah, I'm having a little, well, not the same amount of heartburn as perhaps Supervisor Bone was. I'm just wondering, maybe there be an ability to assess in 6 months if this is really a necessity or if it is redundancy? I mean, if the auditor feels like she needs this, let's see how it is, but you may find, or she may be able to find that it really is something that is already covered through the other plan, the cap, or just, somewhere else. So I just, I don't want to have something that is being redundant. I appreciate her concern about wanting to make sure that, that it's a valid federal award. I'm just wondering if we could reassess it to see if it's really necessary if we do go down that road.
Thank you, Supervisor Bass. CIO Nielsen?
So federal award letter, that's doable. And if there was a misunderstanding on the budgets, it's clarified by the Auditor-Controller. I think then the motion to direct departments to provide federal award letters to the AC by year's end is a reasonable motion. And the redundancy word, which stirred up a bunch of controversy, which was not meant to be done.
Great. Okay. So we now have Supervisor Wilson.
I just want to, with that cleared up, Rex, are we pulling you back in again? Since it doesn't have this redundancy, I just really would like, I'm trying to get everybody on board here.
I don't know. I really don't know. I know we're taking a department with 5 and adding 5 more, but we're not putting anybody in there to see where the best place for these 5 are. And in much respect to the staff and all the qualification that, what?
We're not doing that today. That's coming back to us to talk about what we're going to do with that, and so I just want to be really clear. Yeah, no, that is coming back to us on what our options are for that, and we're going to talk about that at a meeting in the near future. Certainly, we have there are those of us on the board that are very committed to getting resources in that direction, but that wasn't on the agenda today. And we do need to get it on the agenda, be very specific about that. And so we're asking that come to us on a future agenda. That's one of the portions of this motion, is to bring that as an agenda. And certainly if you don't like it when we talk about it in the future, then you can make that, we can have that discussion.
You're misunderstanding. I'm fully aware. I want to get, if she needs the staff and the staff is needed, but I want to make sure it's appropriate. I don't want to buy 10 Priuses for the road department to go out and fix potholes. We need to buy pickups. I want to make sure we're buying the right stuff, getting the right stuff, putting it in the right place. And it doesn't sound like we're doing that. I mean,
like I said, we'll have that discussion. So,
I think Supervisor Bond, there's many aspects of that. There's first of all, what are the classifications? What exact positions are needed to be filled? Whether or not MGO comes in, whether or not we do a realignment and bring staff in from Department of Health and Human Services. So those are a few different avenues that we could go down. And so the agenda item would be to present these different approaches. That's all. So it's not that we're saying that right now. It's we're saying that it has to come back to address the issue of staffing in the Auditor Control's office. Am I correct, Supervisor Wilson? Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. I think that I'm really close to calling the question here, you guys.
Can I hear it again then?
Oh God. Ryan.
There's 5 parts to it. I mean,
wait a second, you guys. Ryan, you had your hand up.
Yeah, no, I understand Supervisor Bone's concern, and there were a couple amendments requested during that time. So I think it would be helpful if we did hear it one more time. So I think if we got it read one more time, that'd be helpful for everyone.
So through the chair, I'll go again. The first one, authorize the Auditor-Controller to post the central service charges contained in the State Controller's Office approved 2019-20 cost allocation plan and as already submitted by county staff by November 30th, 2020. Authorize the Auditor-Controller to post the internal service fund charges approved by the SCO in the 1920 cost allocation plan and as already submitted by county staff by November 30th, 2020. Number 3. The Auditor-Controller to close fiscal year 1920 by November 27th, which would include all journals submitted by all county staff. Number 4, direct departments to provide federal award letters to the AC by year's end. Number 5, direct the AC and HR to return with position classification work, potential operations realignment, conduct a potential staffing study, and include supplemental budgets if necessary.
Thank you.
I think through the chair, I think I saw Karen looking for clarification on something. Were you?
Ms. Paz-Dominguez?
Thank you. It's just this posting everybody's journal, that came out of nowhere for me. So maybe I didn't explain. I'm going to post the year to get it done on Friday. That means I'm going to post as much as I can. But I might not be able to complete everything by Friday. It's just going to be closing the year. And the things that I won't complete are the things that are going to come back in findings. Because what I'm being asked to do is kind of rush through it. So maybe I misunderstood what CAO Nielsen said.
Supervisor Bone and then Ms. Paz-Dominguez.
The only concern I have with this is what I'm hearing is we need to have all this stuff for all of these end of the year stuff, which I think is a function of the Auditor Controller's office. Now I'm hearing she doesn't think she'll have enough time, or the office won't have enough time to do it. So that means none of it's been done. Am I confused, or she's waving at me?
Ms. Paz-Dominguez.
I'm working on closing the year. You're asking me to get it done by Friday so that the people can come and help Public Works. I'm going to do everything I can, but remember, I'm still inadequately staffed. So I'm not understanding how I'm being asked to do everything that I would do in, let's say, 2 weeks, but you got to do it in 4 days, but you don't have additional staff. that wasn't what I agreed to. That wasn't what I'm ready to agree to. Is I'm from now till then, if this meeting ever ends, from now until then, I'm going to be working on year end, posting as much as I can for that Friday deadline. But when Friday hits, I have to stop because I'll have to close the year. That will result in audit findings, which is why I had expressed to the board, you're going to accept responsibility with me because you're asking me to rush through something. I thought we were on the same page. I'll close the year at the end of this week on Friday. I'm going to post as much as I can, but I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to post all of DHHS's journals or all of any specific department's journals. I mean, I'm trying really hard to listen and work with everyone, but I've never seen this much attention go to any single department that has asked for additional staff this repeatedly over the years. I have not seen this much pushback ever. And I'm here working with you and I'm saying I'll do it, but now she's adding stuff into the motion that we didn't agree to that. But I'm running out of time to even say like, wait, that's not what we said. That's not what we said. The way I remember what we said, number one, you are authorizing and accepting responsibility for the cost plan charges as they have been submitted to me for the central services. Number two, you are authorizing me and accepting full responsibility for the cost plan charges related to the internal service funds. Number three, you are authorizing me to close the year by Friday. Beyond that, I wasn't even listening anymore, because I'm running out of energy. But that's as much as I can do for sure that I can commit to you. But if you set me up to do other things that I can't really do, we're both gonna be disappointed with each other.